Good evening, Tiffin, and welcome to another broadcast of WHEI News Center 10, live at 5.
Tonight's program is brought to you by the Communication and Media from inside the Media Communication Center at Heidelberg University.
News Center 10, live at 5, is your #1 campus source for bringing you the latest news around the state, around Tiffin, and around the Berg.
Be sure to stay tuned in as well tonight for our social spotlight as we check the pulse of Berg students and find out what they're thinking about on the hottest topics.
Coming up, a Cleveland golf legend passed away.
And also, BEC plans New York City.
And social will discuss week's upcoming trends.
Don't touch that remote.
WHEI News Center 10 live at 5. We'll be right back.
Good evening, Tiffin, and welcome to WHEI News Center 10, live at 5 for Wednesday, February 4th, 2015. I'm Elizabeth Wren.
And I'm Ashley Rassicott. Let's get to our first story of the night.
Don't you just hate it when you're wrongly convicted and imprisoned? What about when you're released 270 days sooner than your 2-year sentence suggested and then awarded $32,000? Ashtabula resident Terry Swally knows that feeling too well, as he was convicted for having materials and medications in his possession that are often used to make methamphetamine and also a skin infection. According to the Associated Press, the 11th Ohio convicted Swally in the first case. Swally cannot get those $1,000.
National Airport. Despite the confusion and security scramble, the Associated Press reported that K6 Communications Director released that the mistake was caught quickly and the appropriate adjustments were made in time. From Cleveland's WKYC, it's been announced that the man who pushed the segregation line in the Professional Golfers Association in 1960, the recipient of the United States' highest civilian honor, Charles Sifford, has passed away. Charles was a civil rights giant who faced death threats and discrimination to not only abolish the PGA's Caucasian-only rule, but to abolish segregation laws for equal rights for all people of color. Before helping to break the barrier, Sifford won 6 National Negro Opens, and as a member won several PGA championships, and was inducted into the World Golf Hall of Fame. Charles Sifford was 92.
Finally, a way to relax and exercise for the most hoppiest of cool-downs. Melissa Kilma Major came up with the idea that created Balance and Brews, where you take your yoga class and wrap up with a beer. These classes take place in breweries, no less. You can find your nearest Balance and Brews in 3 breweries in Cleveland and another in Athens. That wraps up our local news segment for the day.
But don't go anywhere, because we'll have your biggest campus stories on the other side of these short messages.
You could choose to join a gang. You could try the latest drugs. You could even choose to drop out of school. You can the difficulties in life with a quick fix, or you can face them head on. She did. Make the right choices today.
Hi, my name is Ocean Gray, and I just love California raisins.
At our house, we eat California raisins on our cereal for breakfast, out of hand for lunch, and as an after-school snack.
And good health starts with good nutrition. What better way than with all-natural California raisins? They're fat and cholesterol-free, low in sodium, with no added sugar.
Hi, I'm Lourdes Stefan, host of Univision's Sal y Pimienta. Cancer doesn't just change the way you feel, it changes the way you look. From losing your hair, even your eyebrows, to changes in your skin and nails, cancer treatment can rob you of your confidence and self-esteem. But Look Good, Feel Better changes all that. More than 800,000 women have learned how to address the appearance side effects of cancer treatment through our workshops. Visit lookgood.org to find a free workshop near you. Let Look Good, Feel Better help you feel like you again.
Are you connected?
If you don't have access to internet, you aren't going to be able to take advantage of anything.
The internet is essential to the basics in life: housing, healthcare, employment.
I personally benefited from broadband because I was able to fill out different applications, and I'm pretty positive that I'll.
To get connected, call 866-765-9118 or visit changeyourtomorrow.org.
If everyone had access to the internet, people's lives would be changed.
Connect today. Change your.
Welcome back to News Center 10, live at 5.
Let's get started on our Heidelberg Campus News segment. The Heidelberg School of Music and Theater presents Picasso at the La Pan Agile. The performance is that was written by Steve Martin in the late 1990s that features characters such as Einstein and Pablo Picasso. The two meet in a bar in 1904 called the La Pan Agile. Throughout the performance, there is much discussion of the shaping of the 20th century, eureka moments, and visitor from the future. It's on this weekend at the Ritz National Theater located in downtown Tiffin. Tickets are $10. For more information about the performance, contact Heidelberg School of Music and Theater 419-448-207.
How would you like to spend a weekend making that possible for only $150? The cost of the trip gets you entry into several attractions, including museums, Top of the Rock, the Statue of Liberty, and more. It also covers hotel and travel cost. The dates of the trip are February 12th through 15th. Space is covered, so in order to ensure your spot, you should sign up on BEC's BergSync portal, pay the cost to the Office of Student Engagement, and attend an informational meeting this Friday, the 6th, at 5 p.m. Any questions or comments should be directed to Josh Messersmith at jmessers@heidelberg.edu.
Heidelberg's 19th annual Academic Jeopardy will be held on Sunday, February 15th at 6 p.m. in the Aramark Room. Each team should consist of 4 members, 3 of which may be students, and 1 faculty or staff member can participate per team. Cash prizes will be given to the top 3 teams, however, faculty and staff cannot share in those prizes. There is no need to register ahead of time, but think of a funny team name for your group. Any questions, contact Brian Saxton at bsaxton@heidelberg.edu.
So do you think you're thinking about going on that New York trip, or?
You know, as much as I would love to, I think I just have too much going on right now, but that's such a great weekend in New York for only $150.
Honestly, the price is great, yeah. It's a matter of realizing if you have enough time in your schedule to kind of take the whole weekend off.
Yeah, a weekend's a lot to commit to right now.
It really is.
That's all we have for Berg's Campus News today. We'll get into the latest news and stories from the social media world next.
News Center 10, live at 5. We'll be right back.
WHEI TV 10. Student programming from the Media Communication Center at Heidelberg University.
Tools sure make our lives easy, but a tool is only as useful as the hand that holds it. When straightening crooked teeth and misaligned jaws, orthodontists have all the right tools in their toolbox. They're the most skilled professionals to oversee your care. Orthodontists have the expertise that comes with 2 to 3 years of specialized education beyond dental school. They know best which instruments to use when correcting orthodontic problems. Put your smile in the right hands. Visit braces.org.
Some risks are obviously not worth taking.
Watch where you're going!
Some aren't as obvious, but could be just as deadly, like the risk for type 2 diabetes, especially if you're over 45 or overweight. Take the diabetes risk test. It's free and takes less than a minute. Type 2 diabetes is one risk you can't afford to take. So stop before it's
What's your name? You live around here? You're pretty. Where are you guys going? Where are you going? Where are you going?
Guess it's about time to get you fixed, sweetie.
Your pets will start getting noticed sooner than you think. Accidental litters lead to millions killed in shelters each year. Help prevent more. Fix at month 4.
I feel like it's all on my shoulders. How am I going to take care of my parents if they develop an eye disease like glaucoma? Glaucoma is the leading cause of blindness in African Americans and Hispanics in the United States. And what about my kids? Will they inherit it? Not to mention my risk factor. I'm really concerned and I need some answers.
Call 1-800-434-23 or go to ahaf.org for answers, including a free brochure on glaucoma.
Hello, and welcome to our Social Spotlight segment. Let's check out what's trending today in the world of social media. Earlier this month, American Sniper, a film based on a memoir by Kyle, was released. This film is about the most lethal sniper in U.S. history. Bradley Cooper stars as Chris Kyle, whose skills as a sniper made him a hero on the battlefield. Directed by Clint Eastwood, this heart-touching film has created much controversy. Last week, Seth Rogen found out that Americans won't be happy if you mention American Sniper and Nazis in the same sentence. After viewing the movie, Rogen tweeted, "American Sniper kind of reminds me of the movie that's showing in the third act of Inglourious Basterds." Then, after receiving nearly 10,000 tweets, social media thoroughly explained its discontent for his words. Rogen rebutted it with several follow-up tweets attempting to explain the situation, one of which read, "I wasn't comparing the two. Big difference between comparing and reminding. Apples remind me of oranges. There is no way to compare the two, though." Today is Wednesday, and you know what that means. It's time for Social Time with Scotty C. Check it out.
I'm Scott Carpenter, and you're in Campus Social Time with Scotty C.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the social segment. I am Scotty C, and this week we are recapping the Ohio State Buckeyes 2014 season. The season started with some devastating news. Just 2 weeks prior to the Buckeyes taking the field, Heisman candidate quarterback Braxton Miller goes down with a shoulder injury that would take him out for the entire season. A redshirt freshman was sent in to lead the Buckeyes, and in Game 2 of the season against Virginia Tech, a game which the Buckeyes were expected to handle easily, they lost the heartbreaker 35-21 in Columbus, which sent doubts all through the Ohio State program. And even Coach Urban Meyer said it looked like this team was a year or two away from being really good. Yes, the Buckeyes continued to pound away and beat teams, including a prominent victory over Michigan State. They went into one of the greatest rivalries in sport, known as the Game, against that team up north. And in the fourth quarter, they were pulling away with it. On a fourth quarter play, J.T. Barrett took a scramble that resulted in an injury that took him out for the rest of the season. Cardell Jones, a name Columbus hadn't heard much of in October or November, was sent to play in the Big Ten Championship against Wisconsin in Lucas Oil Stadium. Wisconsin, the favorite, considering Ohio State now had to play their third-string quarterback, and Cardell Jones let them know that he was ready. Cardell Jones threw deep multiple times with his favorite target downfield being Devin Smith, and the Buckeyes held Melvin Gordon to just 76 yards, which propelled them to a 59-0 victory, and Ohio State was Big Ten champions once again. And then the playoff picture. The fourth spot was open. Ohio State, Baylor, and TCU all jockeying for that last spot, and yours truly, The Ohio State University, took that fourth spot, and they were sent to play the Alabama Crimson Tide. As a 10-point underdog, the Buckeyes trailed early in the first half, 21-6. The Buckeyes would eventually make it 21-13, and when the first half was closing in, this in-around pass from Evan Spencer to Michael Thomas made it 21-20 going into halftime. And the Ohio State Buckeyes took the field with confidence in the second half and took a 6-point lead that they would hold for most of the second half until Ezekiel Elliott hit this break-free run, an 80-yard run, the largest run Alabama had given up to blow the gates open make it a 14-point lead for the Buckeyes. And then Alabama would continue to strike downfield, and they had one last Hail Mary attempt to tie the game up.
Right side, ball in the air toward the end zone, and that ball is going to be caught, and the Buckeyes get it. Coming out of the end zone with a football for Ohio State is Tyvis Powell. He goes racing up and is tackled at the 30-yard line, and the king of the SEC has fallen. Ohio State defeats Alabama 42-35, and the Buckeyes will go to Dallas and face Oregon National Championship.
So the national championship stage was set, and the Ohio State Buckeyes were to take on the Oregon Fighting Ducks, who were looking for their first ever national championship in school history. And the Buckeyes looked like they were going to have a hard time facing that up-tempo offense, and in the first half and took the lead 21-10. Oregon came back to start the second half with a deep pass that led to a 21-17 score. The Buckeyes would struggle a little bit, 4 turnovers that resulted in some Oregon points, but the Buckeyes kept Oregon the 20 and then continued to pound the ball downfield and took control of the game. And when all was over, Ezekiel Elliott delivered the final punch and put the Buckeyes up 42-20, and that is where the game would end. And the Buckeyes, who didn't look that promising after Virginia Tech, the 2014 national champions, winner of the first ever college football playoff. That's the social segment, ladies and gentlemen, with Scotty C. Go Buckeyes, and I'll see you next week.
That's all we have for our light segment tonight. Now let's send it back over to Elizabeth and Ashley at the news desk.
Thanks, Stacy. So did you ever make it out to American Sniper?
You know, I haven't seen it yet, but I was hesitant because I wasn't sure it was my kind of movie. So my sister was also feeling hesitant about it, and she loved it.
I've heard very good reviews from the people that I know who have been out to see it, because I haven't been out either, but I've only heard good things about it.
Yeah, so maybe it's something we should check out, you know?
It's time to throw it over to Joe to take a look at today's top sports stories.
Last Friday at the OAC Split Meet North, hosted by Baldwin Wallace, the Heidelberg indoor track and field teams individual event champions as the student princes placed 4th for the women and 5th for the men. Beaver, Bailey Garrett, Cameron Weeks, Dylan Domi, and Jared Dillon won their event to lead the way for the Berg. The student princes will be back in action on Saturday, February 7th, when they Joe Banks Invitational, hosted by Ohio Northern University. Last night, the Heidelberg wrestling team made short work of host Muskingum University. The student princes improved to 2-1 in the OAC with a 55 victory. In the first full bout of the night, Brian Bruner won by major decision at 157 by 14-4. At 174, Brendan Kelly pinned his opponent, which came in 3 minutes and 33 seconds. The student princes are idle until a key OAC duel next Tuesday as they travel to Alliance for a match with the Purple Raiders at 7:30 p.m. That's all we have for your Berg Sports tonight. Now let's send it back to Elizabeth.
Thanks, Joe. So it looks like we had a pretty successful weekend.
And hopefully we can keep that momentum going this weekend for track and on Tuesday for wrestling.
Yeah, coming up soon. Track just finished and now they're going out again. Yep. So we're wishing them the best of luck along with the wrestling team.
When we return, a Cub Scout hiking trip takes an unexpected turn.
WHEI TV 10.
Student programming from the Media Communication Center at Heidelberg University.
Hey, what's up? I'm Bella.
Yo, what up? This is Vinny Guadagnino. I'm Nick Cannon.
Hi, I'm Aziz Ansari. That was your line.
You can help by joining DoSomething.org.
DoSomething.org.
That's why I'm teaming up with DoSomething.org.
This is the ocean.
And this is Kipper. Kipper doesn't live in the ocean, but if she did, this is likely what would happen. This is Sparky. And this is habitat destruction. Boozer doesn't like it. Neither does Fluffy. We wouldn't listen to Kipper, Sparky, Boozer, or Fluffy. In the oceans, it's worse. Lacking opposable thumbs, Kipper can't take action, but you can. Visit Bering Sea.
There's only one way a champion long jumper can clear an entire herd of elephants. When they've been butchered for their ivory. Help put an end to the illegal wildlife trade before it's too late.
Thank you.
Thank you for serving.
Thank you.
We thank the troops for all the support they've given us. But how do we thank the ones who support them?
Thank you for your service.
Thanks USA provides scholarships to the spouses and children of our troops and helps give a future to the people who support the troops the most.
Thanks for supporting them.
Thank you for your dedication.
Go to ThanksUSA.org to see how you can express your appreciation for what they do, for our heroes.
Thank you.
Go to ThanksUSA.org now.
Thank you.
Welcome back to WHEI News Center 10, live at 5.
Let's get to the last story of the night.
When you hear Cub Scouts, hiking, and trails, we can pretty much guarantee that you'll end up at the appropriate destination. But what if you don't?
Desmond Wheatley is the scout leader for a Cub Scout troop in San Diego who led a hike through a state park back on January 24th that took them on a trail straight to a nude beach.
The 9 and 10-year-old scouts definitely went home with more than your average hiking story. So naturally, their parents were outraged when their sons came face to face with naked adults instead of coming face to face with nature.
The leaders of the Cub Scouts took quick action and reported that the hike was, quote, quickly rerouted to protect the youth, and concluded that the proper protocol had been observed.
That is definitely a story to remember, if nothing else.
Most definitely. It's definitely an adventure, I would say, not the hike they had planned. So,
maybe
maybe
the lesson in this one is how to take quick action.
That's true. That was a good Boy Scout lesson to take from there. Yeah. Because, I understand why those parents were a little outraged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching WHEI News Center 10 live at 5. Our program tonight was produced and presented by the Department of Communication and Media from inside the Media Communication Center at Heidelberg University.
Thank you for tuning in to today's broadcast. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for our next.
I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Ashley.
And for Joe and all of the WHEI production crew, we thank you for watching.